r/AmITheAs. AITA for giving my wife and dog similar nicknames. I got myself a dog 2 years ago and have been with my wife since we were teenagers, 12 years. We are currently 16 weeks pregnant with our first, and probably last, baby. Our miracle baby. Her hormones have been off the charts, as to be expected, as this pregnancy has been difficult for her. To cut to the issue, since my wife has become pregnant, my dog has become a whine ass, to put it bluntly. The vet states it's just the dog's way of expressing concern for my wife and that she now has anxiety, more than likely caused by my wife's difficulty and emotions. Recently I started referring to my dog as Pupperino whenever she starts whining. What's wrong, Pupperino? The first few times I said this, my wife just went quiet and removed herself from the room. But recently, when I called my wife the nickname I had given her 12 years ago, she told me to never call her that again, Baberino. When I asked why, she said I tainted the nickname for her and she never wants to be called something that is that closely similar to what I've been calling my dog. I admittedly don't see what the issue is, but with that said, my buddy is on my wife's side and said that since I knew my wife's hormones and depression was in full spike, calling my dog a nickname that was so closely similar to that of which I've been calling my wife for years is basically disrespectful. AITA. ETA, my wife absolutely loved her nickname, but now it truly bothers her when I call her Baberino because I now call the dog Pupperino. She is admittedly completely fed up with my dog's behaviors, the whining and anxiety, which causes her to be underfoot 24/7 now, so I can see why it would bother her, but I admittedly still don't see the issue. What do you think, guys? AITA for embarrassing my husband in front of his friends. I, 26F, am married to K, 25M. I met him a few years back when my best friend and his best friend started dating. After that our friend groups kind of joined together. So all of my husband's friends are also my friends and all my friends are his friends. I've known my best friend, A, for 15 years, we've always been extremely close and lived together at one point. She's literally part of my family, she comes to all of my family events, my siblings refer to her as their sister and she just been extremely involved in my life for years. Now, me and my husband have a 6-month-old daughter. My dad is extremely wealthy, so he helps us out financially until my daughter is old enough to go to school, then I will take a job at his company that pays well. My husband has a job that he works from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. and then afterwards him and his friends often hang out at my house or at one of their houses. Here's the problem, my husband's best friend cheated on my best friend a few weeks ago. She's completely heartbroken, and since they live together my husband and I agreed that it's okay that she stays with us until they work things out. She's not really up to seeing him just yet. A is a huge help with the baby, she's so good with her and the baby loves her. When my husband and his friends get home they normally talk until 8 p.m.ish, so he doesn't help with the baby too much when he gets home, which I don't mind, it's just nice to have a little help. Yesterday night my husband opened the front door, peeked his head in, looked right at me and rolled his eyes and walked out. Him and his friends came in a few moments later and were all being cold and rude to all evening. After an hour or two my husband walks right up to me and says, "Does she always have to be here? I want to bring, friend's name, here tonight." And rolled his eyes. I responded, "If I want to bring my best friend into the house my dad paid for, I can, and if I choose to have somebody help me with the baby that you're not looking after, it's going to be her." His friends just sat there silently and he just walked away and sat back down. He's giving me the silent treatment and left and is staying with her mom as she feels uncomfortable being in the house now. So AITA. Waiting for your opinions in the comments. AITA for telling my friend her daughter is not special? Both myself, F32, and my friend Julie, F32, are single mothers. We have been friends since high school and I used to think of her as a sister. Julie has a daughter, Zoe, F4. Zoe started kindergarten just over a month ago at a prestigious private school, paid for mostly by her father, and since then Julie has been boasting almost non-stop about how Zoe is so mature, so much smarter than all her classmates, etc. This didn't bother me until I mentioned over text that I was having trouble keeping on top of my housework because my son, Max, M1, was cutting teeth and breastfeeding a lot. Julie made a comment that since he was almost 2, he shouldn't be acting like a baby, and followed up with, when Zoe was that age she was already making her own sandwich from scratch. Which is an exaggeration. I simply didn't reply to her comment, but this seems to have made the problem worse. She has made other small comments comparing our kids, but when she sent me a link to services for children with delays, I lost it. I asked her if she was serious, to which she replied that at Max's age Zoe could already count to 20, which is a 3-year-old milestone, and I should intervene with Max's issues sooner rather than later. To be clear, Max is meeting all his milestones and there are zero concerns that he is anything other than a perfectly normal child. I told her as much, but then I also told her that Zoe's maturity is probably because she has to raise herself, since she would rather hang out with her now boyfriend and leave her kid with grandma than spend time with her own kid. I think I might have gone too far with my comments. AITA. AITA for not wanting to visit my sister after she told me her partner is allergic to dogs. Using a throwaway account because family uses Reddit. I am 22, have a small dog, 6, and we had no issues with my sister nor her partner. Here's what happened. Yesterday I was visiting her because she needed help at home because her partner had a 24H shift. As always, my dog was with me and he was well behaved and sat in a place the whole time. Also, I promised that I would visit them today again and bring my Switch to keep the 4-year-old entertained. He has a fractured leg and shouldn't move too much. Today my sister told me that his partner suddenly developed an allergy towards dogs because his eyes got itchy when he came home after work, and when I'm visiting her today my dog should stay in the garden alone. I told her that I won't do that because he's not used to it, it's cold and windy. I didn't tell her yet that I'm not visiting. We received a text message from her partner, while I was on the phone with my sister, where he basically wrote the same thing what my sister told me. My mum got furious and called my sister, and it turned out that my sister would be mad at me for not coming because I promised that I would bring my Switch and so on, and she thinks that the dog staying outside is a reasonable request. My mum said that we won't come as our clothing/car is also full of dog hair. I totally can understand that the dog shouldn't come and allergies developing, but I think I can refuse to come if my dog suddenly isn't allowed inside. So AITA. Edit. He barks the whole time I'm away. He can stay only 30 to 60 minutes completely alone for now. Still in training, usually I have someone to watch him. I just don't want to visit her today/tomorrow because on short notice I don't have anyone. In the future I will visit my sister without the dog. I just need a few days notice so I can plan it properly. Is up the a-hole?